Okay, 1 second, I'll stop my share. I'll just need to log in. This will be your orchestrator. You'll have the community edition. And then if you would click on the grid symbol, you have to go to Studio Web. So Studio Web is the place where you build agents. This will be this is place where you can build an RPA workflow as well, or agentic process or agent. So this is a single platform where we can build the different types of automations. That's an RPA workflow or an agent. So I would like to, before maybe going to the agent part, let's understand the use case that we're going to develop today. So it's a simple use case. It can maybe solved with the prompt also, but there are little things that I've added to just show it as an end-to-end example, why we need an agent. So our problem is to summarize our document. So we will have these documents, be it a college subjects PDF or be it a related document. Let's say this is like document for digital transformation. So this might have like a lot of pages, and then I don't want to read entire document. I just want to know the context of this document as an overview, and then I need some key takeaways from this document so that like I can quickly understand what is the document instead of going through all unwanted lines or unwanted information. So I just want a summary of this entire document. So that's our use case today. So if in RPA, maximum what we can do is like we can get the files and then you can read the document using read PDF activity. And then from that, we cannot do any sentiment analysis, or we cannot use any natural language to understand what the document is, right? So that's where our agent comes into picture. So initial part to get the files and then the read document, we still use RPA. The thinking part or to summarize part or the part where we need brain, where that's where we use agent. And what our agent does basically is to get this text, match the context file structure. So we have a context also. I'll show the context. So basically I want to customize the summary style. So I want my heading to be in the top, and then I need key takeaways, and then what are the key takeaways, and then so I need that in a specific format. So that will be my context now. So main thing is like we also have focus areas. So I'll be adjusting these focus areas in future. Like let's say now I'm interested in automation or digital transformation or agents or AI. So I'll mention that in focus areas, and then my agent will do the processing only if the focus areas lies in this list. So apart from this, it will directly say like it's not in our focus area, so I'm not going to summarize to you. So that's my context surrounding for this agent or for this process. And later, once we have the output, we can decide like how do we want to store, how do we have to use it for further processing, want to upload it somewhere. So that part we can, you can decide. Okay. So with this, so these are input document. So should open it here itself. These are document. We have like a lot of things. I took for 6 pages, I guess. Yeah. This will be my input document. Okay, let's open. I'll start creating the RPA workflow.
Is
Firstly.
it possible to share the document so that we will also try parallelly building?
Okay, can we do
So
that?
that would be a handsome. Thank you.
Let me see if I can share it. I'll try to put it in chat. Share it in the chat. Okay, So that's the document which I've shared. So we'll start with the. So I'm going to start with RPA workflow.
Sorry for the interruption. Like,
Mhm,
can you differentiate the agent and agentic process? Like, there is one option, right? Agentic process
mhm,
about agent. So,
mhm.
what are they like? What is the major difference between these two?
So with agent, you'll create only a simple agent, but with agentic process automation, we'll have this huge maestro. So I think you also know about maestro, right? So here we have this process orchestration also, and then we can create BPM and diagrams here.
Okay, I think this is the fifth day session, I guess.
Yes.
We are ready to learn. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, let me click this. Okay, so I'm going to create an RPA workflow. Automation. Okay, you quickly understand the elements that you see here. So what I did was like I've selected RPA workflow, right? So that is basically going to create a solution for me. So what is the difference between the previous RPA, plain RPA workflow and then the solution? So solution is nothing but an entire package with all the resources. So it's not restricted only to RPA workflow. So I can, if you see here with this, press button, I can add an RPA workflow here within this same solution. And then I can also add an agentic process. I can add an agent, and then I can add an app also. So that's the difference, or that's the thing why you see solution here. So when you publish, you can publish everything at once. You don't have to publish RPA separately or agent separately and then combine them later. So we don't have to do that. You define your entire solution in single package and then you publish. So that's the
So,
difference.
just one question. RPA workflow and the
Mhm.
one that we make in such studio, is it like different or
This is the Studio Web flow, and then the one we make in Studio is like Studio Flow.
so
That's the
for
difference.
this like
Mhm.
agentic
Mhm.
process, we have to create on the cloud or like we can do it on the studio. Like how is it?
Yeah, so here I'm building everything in single solution. So if in your case, if you want to develop only or if you want to deploy only an agent, you can click on add and then you can click on agent and then you can remove RPA workflow and then publish it. And then later in Studio, you can use run agent and then run that agent. I'll show that part in the end.
Okay, okay.
Which one you have selected after selecting on the RPA workflow? So,
I didn't do
guys,
anything later.
guys, 1 second. So please park your questions or post in the chat so that like we will take in the last by considering the time constraint what we have. So any questions, please do post in the chat so that like we will be taking that up after the session.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Patradu. Okay, so now we have this main channel. So I have my document in OneDrive. So I want to read this document, right? So as a workflow says, I have to get files from the OneDrive and then need to read each document. So for that, we have activity called get file or folders list, which is part of Google Workspace. And this will be this if I when I start clicking on this, it will create an integration services for me. If you click on here. Yeah, this is my integration services connector, and then it shows my drive. So I have my file in summary folder. So I'm selecting the summary folder. And we have the list of files. Now we need to loop each of the file, right? So I have to select for each. So all you need to do, so here, if you click on show additional properties, the output will be stored in the variable called files or folders. You don't have to do anything. All you need to do is click here in this rectangle, and then wait for some time, and then you will have the previously defined variables. So this will be my list. So just select this, and then the for each will automatically convert to G drive item. So if you see properties, I can limit to if I have to limit for first 10, I can limit. I'm just keeping it empty. So within our for each, let's print that to see if I'm able to read or not. So for that, I'm using log message. And then within this rectangle again, I just need to click. It didn't come. And then wait for some time, let it load, and click again. And now you see this is my for each. And then current item variable is this one. So if you see in Studio, you have like current item variable created, right? So this will be my current item variable. And the methods or the functions that I can call within this item are these. So I want to print the name of the document, right? So for current G drive remote item, I wanted to print name. So let's clicking on name. That's it. So if you want to further format it, you can use expression editor. Is it here? So if I wanted to add like currently processing, and I want to print the name. So click on save. And quickly test this process. So on the right side, you see like few panels, like properties panel is again similar, like how we have like the properties panel in Studio. This is like output panel where you can see the logs of current run, and then watch panel is like where you can type, you can run the flow in debug mode. You can keep a breakpoint and then type a variable expression to see what is the current value of any expression. And then in the left side, you see few panels. This is like file explorer, and then data manager where you can check all your variables arguments. And then if you have any issues, you can see here. And then this will be for deployment configuration. Mostly we don't use this. So we go with so these are the elements that you see in the left side. And then below, these are the all resources that you have under your solution. Like I can add an app, I can add an asset, so currently I've added an integration services connector, right? So you can see that connector under connections. And then if I add a context, I'll see context also here. So this is like all your solution related resources. Okay, let's see the output. So here I can see the currently processing digital transformation, which is this file. Now I'm able to do until here. So I got the files and then I read the first document, right? Now the agent part. Hope it is clear until here. So I want to add a next component to my solution, right? So I just click on add to solution, and then I wanted to add an agent. So I'm clicking on agent. So I'll name it doc summary agent. Then if you want to rename this solution also, just right click on it, click on rename. That will be a solution. That will be my agent. So I don't want to generate anything. I just wanted to start from fresh. So just click on start fresh. Okay. Now the prompting part. So okay. In our current agent, what we need to do is to we need to define or else we will have the text, and then from the text we need to extract the relevant information or key information that we need, right? So accordingly we need to generate a prompt. So this is also again Gen AI generated prompt. I didn't write all this. So you can also use the same. What you need to do is like I'll explain like how do you ask ChatGPT to give this prompt according to for our agentic case, for any agentic case, let's say. So basically, how did I got this prompt? So when you write your system prompt, firstly you need to define who is the AI. I mean, who the AI is. Let's keep it like that way. Who the AI is. Like, what are you actually? So in my case, I'm a sorry. In my case, agent is a document summarization expert. So you need to define who the AI is, and then specify what task it should perform. step by step. So in my prompt, I'm just telling like your task is to read a long form text and produce a complete structured summary that helps user quickly understand the key information. Do not describe your process. Do not confirm. Just output the summary directly into the structured described flow. So I'm just specifying what it needs to do. And then you need to set rules, tone, like how I did here. Do not describe your process. Do not confirm. And then constraints. So in this way, you will avoid your agent to hallucinate by its own, right? So next one, prevent undesired behavior. Yeah, as I mentioned, to stop it hallucinate, you need to set your rules, right? And you need to ensure the output is structured, grounded, and actionable. So what do I mean by this? So here, this is my structure, like how I want my output to be. I want a document title, and then here I want to write like what is the overview title of the document, right? And then I want this heading, and then 5 to 7 bullet points of overall summary, and then chapter wise highlights, and then key takeaways, and then notable quotes. So this is my structure, right? So you need to properly give in prompt like what structure you need, and then also grounded. So I mentioned, right, it should not go away from what we mentioned in our focus areas. So in this case, I'm directly writing here like focus only on relevant topics like digital transformation. I can also mention like focus only on relevant topics as mentioned in context, so that also I can. And other actionable items which you may think the agent do. Sorry. And keep the final response concise and no longer than 2 pages. Output the final summary directly, do not preface it with explanations. And then expressions like I will now summarize. So it should not, sometimes what happens is you enter the prompt and then in your output, it will say like, okay, now I'm generating, but at the end, it will not generate anything. So in summarize thing, I saw that I got this thing like when I give this prompt and then I try to, I mentioned that to generate a context or generate the output, it said like I'll now summarize and then it stopped. So that's why if these cases are, if you face these cases, just mention directly in the prompt like to avoid in the further I mean when it is action, when it's actually live, to avoid that in live, just mention that properly. So I'll give these 2 prompts in the chat. Okay, there is a limit. I'll share the file. Okay, I've shared the file. That's about the prompting part of system prompt. And user prompt is nothing but so a simple statement like how the input is going to be and where and an argument of the actual input, right? So I'll just copy this to the system prompts place, then these two user prompts place. So it says it shows as red, so that means like I didn't define this as an argument. Let's quickly go to data manager and then I'll just add property. I hope you're following the steps. So I'm going to data manager, and here you'll see input and output, and then I've clicked on add property, and then this section came up, and then clicked on pencil, and then adding the input argument, right? If you want to change the document type or the argument type, just click in this little and small t, and then you'll be able to change, right? Okay, and then by default there will be an output argument called content. So this is where the output of agent will be stored.
Sorry to interrupt. How did you extract the text? Did you put any command for that?
Which text?
The text from the PDF.
Okay, this text.
Correct, correct. The data inside that.
I'll show you. We have an activity within RP workflow. I didn't get to that point. I'll show you. So now we are building the agent now, and then the reading part, and then the connecting agent part will come next. Okay. So now we gave system and user prompts, and then we gave the argument also, and now the context part. So I have my context already. So this is a simple context. I just wanted to use context here. So that's why I'm just creating this context. So in context, I just mentioned like what should be my summary style, and what are my focusing areas, what should I exclude, what is my output structure, and then language and length limit. And then the context can be, I can later change, so that like I don't have to adjust the agent, I just adjust the context and then it will change. So let's get back to UiPath. And now we need to add the context, right? So click on add context. Then here you see the button, create new, click on it. It will take you to the indexes section. Just click on pages, my workspaces. And then here you see indexes, right? So I've created my index already, but I'll show again. So I'm creating my index on shared. All you need to do is like click on add index, add your index name, doc summary index. You need a storage bucket also. I'll show you what do we have in this summary context. Then I'm clicking on save. That created my index. So basically index is kind of linking. So what we need to do is like, we'll have a storage bucket. It's like we need a storage unit where you store all your documents, and then you link that storage unit to your agent. And that linking part is called as index, right? So this is my storage bucket. And then here I have summary context. And then here I've stored this JSON. I'll share this JSON also in the chat. I don't know if I can do this, but we'll try. Receive the context also in the chat. So in shared, I've created a storage bucket called summary context. And then in index, I created an index and then linked that storage bucket to this index. Okay. So going back to my agent, then here I click on add context, and then you see here that the index got added here. Select that, and that's it. And now we added our context also to our agent. See here.
Can you show that doc summary index once? Is it possible?
This one.
Yeah. What's inside that? Like.
So this is basically a storage bucket. So if I this is an index, as I mentioned, right? So storage bucket is where you place your files. Let's say summary context, right? Here you store the files, and then in index you create an index. You create a link to that storage bucket, so that like you can add this index to your agent as a context. So this is assume this like a, instead of index, assume this as a link name. So you create a link name, then behind that link name you have a storage bucket, and then using that link name you link that storage bucket to your agent as a context. Okay, so now we added this, and then just testing. I'll just copy some text here. Then I'll run my agent. This is my input argument. Just I'm just giving the sample text to that and clicking on save on text. In test RK workflow. Let's run the agent. Instead of running and start relation, I'll just run the agent. LLM call happened, and then here's my agent output. Does not contain sufficient information to create a structured summary. So I just gave from this introduction, and then it says like it doesn't. It's not sufficient to summarize, right? So I'll take more data or more text from here. It called the context rounding as well. And then now you'll see the output as I defined in the context rounding. So I got my document title, I got my overall summary, and then key takeaways and notable quotes from the text I gave. So this is working. And to understand the rest of the elements, so evaluation sets is nothing but here. This is where you create your test cases. So let's say if I want to create a test case here, so I'll just use the same input and outputs. So in your case, you can define like for this set of input, this is your expected output, right? So those test cases you can define. But in my case, I have text and then I expect something out, right? So I'll just copy the same. This is my input. I go to evaluation sets and just use the default evaluation set. And then I'm going to evaluations and then clicking on add to set. This will be my first evaluation set, and this will be the input that I'll give to agent, and then expected out. I got it from. I'll take it from here. This is my expected output, and for input, I'll give the input text. This is one eval set. Yeah. So like this, you can create more sets into your evaluation set, and then you can come back and then you can run evaluation set, and then you can see you can simply run all evaluation sets at once. This is like testing your agent.
Sorry, one question. The in context, you uploaded one JSON file, right?
Yes.
So what was the purpose of that JSON file? Like what information were present inside that?
So basically, I'm going to tell how the output should be. Like basically, my summary, how my summary style should be. What are my focus areas? I know. I mean, I can mention this in prompt also. But to show you an example, I'm just using this context. So in other cases, let's say you have supply related data, and then that supply data related data you can give it as a context. So in my case, for summarization, I'm just using these JSON like what should be my summary. If it is contains only this related information, then summarize, then don't do it. So that related information, I'm just passing it as context.
So is
Oh,
it mandatory to pass this information, or else we can give it in only prompt and we no need to
You,
give it in storage bucket?
you can for this case specifically for uh, do it in prompt itself.
so
Okay.
this like summary style focus area, like is it the tag
Mhm.
is always like that, or like
This is JSON file, so that's why it is in this format. If you have
no,
like an Excel
is the
file,
format always fixed like this only, or for some other use case, if we
Mhm.
use this,
Okay, you mean this name?
yeah, all these things, yeah, correct.
This can be
Focus.
completely different. It can be anything.
So you decided to give it in
Yes.
JSON, is it like that?
Yes. So even with this JSON, I can use instead of summary style, I can use like I can use like what I need to what should be my style or what is the style should be. I can write whatever I need. It will understand. I mean, this is basically an LLM which is understanding this document. So this can be anything. It can be a JSON. It can be any free text. It can
So
be an
if you
Excel.
wanted to give in paragraph, it would have been fine, you're
Yes,
saying, right?
yes. You can in your prompt you need to accordingly update. Like I have a paragraph in my context. Just understand that paragraph and then accordingly do the summarization. So maybe like that.
Over
So
here, have you mentioned anything regarding JSON in the system prompt?
so I mentioned like just what the summary directory refer to the context file for what topics to focus on and what to skip. So I mentioned this refer to context,
Okay.
and I'm asking to like get topics from that file basically. Yeah.
Okay. Last question. Like
Mhm.
sometimes if we want the response to be in JSON
Mhm.
format only, okay,
Mhm.
is there some way like instead of just telling the system prompt to always return the output in JSON format, is there a way that we can because I was
Mhm.
automating one of the use case and I
Mhm.
used to ask the output in JSON format. Okay,
Mhm.
90% of the time it used to return in JSON format, but
Mhm.
sometimes it used to return the output like, hey, the input is the output is JSON. Like even though I will tell it that don't add anything extra in the output, it would
That's what it is.
return that.
In that,
Yeah.
yes. In this case also, I just created the situation here. So
Okay.
in my case also, so if I give a lot of data and then if I ask it to summarize, it will sometimes say, I will summarize now as an output, but it
Yes.
will not summarize. It will just give this text.
Okay. So
So
that's a
that's
common
why,
issue, right? I mean,
yes,
that's
yes. So
okay.
that's why I mentioned specifically like output the final summary directly. Do not preface it with explanations like I'll now summarize. So in the
Yeah.
next case, yeah, if
Correct.
you
So.
adjust that in prompt, it will accordingly give it to
Mhm.
you.
Right. So I've like tried this, but sometimes
Mhm.
what it used to happen is that it will not
Mhm.
write that I will not summarize. Okay, the input it might put some additional words into
Mhm.
it. So I thought
It
maybe there is some.
completely it completely depends on prompt actually. So even if you strictly mention in prompt, like if there is any other structure apart from JSON, just tell you cannot summarize something like that. You can give this text to ChatGPT and then it can form a one shot or a two or a simple direct prompt to you. And then it is
Okay.
like trial and error. You can play with the prompts.
Okay.
Okay. So given document summary and I don't want any tools to be used. In case if you want to use an RPA tool to run or if you want to do a web search, you can just click on add tool and then you can see all your automations in automation section. And multi-agent for multi-agent case, you can add one more agent to existing agent and then specific activities, right? As I mentioned, mostly we use web search for most of the agent related general activities. You can use web search and other activities that are already available with these applications. That's about tools. So yeah, so this is our agent, and then let's get back to our RP workflow now. So we have the file name now, so we need to extract text from this file, right? So for that, we have an activity from document understanding called extract PDF text. Just click on it. So what is my path? So current G item dot nothing, right? That's directly current G drive remote item. So click here, and this will be my path. Select it. So now I have my text. So I want to pass this text to my agent now, right? Again, click on plus symbol. So if you see here, I never created any variable. So whenever I add an activity, it is automatically getting created. Then to run an agent, we have an activity called run agent. Select it. And then process name is nothing but your resource agent. So if I click here, it will firstly show the defined resources. So defined resources is your current flow or current platforms or current workspaces related resources. So if I want to use any another platform resources, like in general under autopilot folder, if I need to use some of this agent, then I can select accordingly. But if I want to use the defined resources agent, which is this one, I need to select under defined resources. So that will be my document summary agent. Then we need to map the input, right? So there will be an output for this extract PDF text. We need to pass that to this to this activity to our agent. Click on mapping, and then here again click, and here you can see the extracted text variable from extract PDF text. Just click once, and that would add to this, and then click on save. If you want to print the text, you can also print just to make sure if the document understanding thing worked properly or not. So I just wanted to print extracted this text, right?
So in extracted PDF text, can I read it from locally directly? Local file.
If you use UiPath Studio, then yes. But in Studio Web, it will not support reading the local resources.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, so that's a complete flow. Just test it, and then I'll summarize this. This is my connector. Then this is my summary index. And project arguments, I don't have any. Let's click on save and test. This provisioning resources will happen whenever you add a resource or you update a lot in the flow. And from the second time, it will be quicker. Just extracted the information from PDF. Then it printed here. Then that it got successfully completed, but then we didn't print the output, right? Click on log message again. And then under enter text, we have run agents, output arguments, content. So that will be my agent's output, basically our summary. Click on info, then test again. This is my agent's output. Just copy this. And to understand it properly, I'll just paste it in Notepad. So from the document, I got my overall summary. These are the overall, this I think is my overall summary. This is my document title. Like this. This is a structure I defined in my context. So document title, data transformation concept, then overall summary, here. And then for each chapter, there are highlights again. And then these are my key takeaways from that entire document. Then notable quotes are nothing but some of the important lines that I need to think of it or remember. So this is my, this is the agent's output. So go here. So we built an RPA and then we built an agent. We connected these two and then we produced an output, right? So just summarize again. So we started with our RPA workflow. We read the files from Drive. For each of the file, we printed the path. We extracted the text, and then we have the text. And then now we need to get summary from this text. So this RPA cannot do. We created an agent for that. We gave the prompt, system prompt, to give rules and regulations for agent, what it needs to do exactly. And we gave a user prompt, like how we are going to give agent an input. And then to not hallucinate by itself, we set limits by adding a context of how we need the output to be formatted. This can be anything related to your, this is related to your agent, it can be anything. So we created an index here, just like a link. And then we link to what? We have our context in a storage bucket. So we created a link for that storage bucket. And then we use that link in our agent as a context that we created. And then as a simple, for a simple example, we created one evolution set. So I ran that set also, and then you can see there's 90%, 95%, and then 90%. Then we have evoluters. So basically here we see like LLM messages and then project, right? So these are the evoluters that is being created here. So this is my default evoluter, just like LLM messages, and then another one as a project tree. Here you can, if you want to create your own evoluters, you can create it. So that we did within the agent. And then we came back to our RPA workflow again. We had the extracted text. We passed that extracted text as an input argument to our agent. And then we got the output as a summarized content and we printed it. So that's our end-to-end solution. Now we have this entire solution, right? And this is our entire solution. So it's all doc summary. So now we need to publish this. Ideally, since we already deployed RPA workflow, we can directly run here and then we can see into an output. Let's say you want to deploy this to orchestrate. So what you need to do is click on publish. And then to my workspace, yes, click on publish. This will take some time. You see like solution publish started here. You will see or deployed successfully, or if there are any validation errors, you will see here. Just wait for a few seconds.
Muthukrishna, I have a doubt. Like,
Yes.
as you are keeping only one file in Drive, like it is giving the output. When there are multiple files, when you are using the for each loop, like will it go and read every file, and will it append to that output file and give the summarization, or how it will be behaving? So can
So
you
this is so here one document will be one run. So like one document will be one transaction. So it will get here, if you see, for each item as in for each document, it will read, it will extract the text, it will summarize, and it will store that as a one content, one summarize, one summary. If you have the second document, it will again go to that second document, it will read, and then it will get the summary, and then it is going to store it as a separate summary. So we are not summarizing all the documents into single summary. We are summarizing each document because let's say let's take a simple example. So in my case, I have digital transformation, and the next document can be of completely a different type. So in that cases, if I summarize those two, summarizing those two might not make sense, right? Also, in this itself, I have like 6 to 7 pages, and then assume we have like 5, 10 pages, and then it goes on, and then you have like very big summary, and that will become an again a document. So basically, I'm treating one file as a one transaction item. So we okay. Is it clear?
Yep, I got it now. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. So we deployed, right? We had an error there. So I've clicked on the check deployment this, and then these are my validation errors. You click here and then expand it, you will see what is the error. If you click on this pencil icon, it will directly navigate to the resource where it had the error. So basically, I have an error in document summary index, and it says there is a component already exists. So I've already created an index, right? So this might so let's the solution installer is nothing but you'll deploy an entire solution, and that if there is no folder, it will create a folder in your orchestrator. So now what it is trying to do is like it is trying to create an index for me. It's trying to create a storage bucket and an index, and it says like there is an already component exist. So all we need to do is like click on use existing, and then it linked to the existing document summary index, and click on validate again. Then now there are no errors. Click on deploy. If I go to here and under my workspaces, I can see able to see a debug folder, right? This one. Even if I close this now, I can continue the debugging later. So a temporary debug will be created. You can later, if you don't need, you can delete. So everything is fine now. So I'll just click on deploy. So deployment starting, and then you can activate when it is ready. So this is my what is that? Doc summary. Yeah, this is my newly deployed solution. So you can clearly see in the processes that there are like two processes. One is document summary agent, and then RPA workflow. Sometimes you need to cross check the elements also within this processes. Let's say if I click on here, it says folder path. If I click on edit, package requirements, it says folder path, and then it says status as unknown. So in these cases, all you need to do is like just see what is creating an issue. This is my index again. So all I need to do is like override and select my index. It says available. Click on update. Similarly, if you're in your RPA workflow also, there might be some integration services, right? Just see if everything is fine or not. It says unknown, so I can just directly select my connector. I'm not running this, so it's okay. Can select there, and then if you would have created a queue or assets or apps, you'll be able to see those also in your deployment, solution deployment. Okay, that's how you deploy your solution. So now we created a solution and then we deployed it, right? And we ran the agent using UiPath Studio Web. So now let's see the studio part. Just created a simple flow. I have my file in the local. That's my file. And then you can just search here. You'll see run agent activity from studio. So this is the run agent activity. Make sure you have latest version of system activities, at least 25. And then again, this is the document understanding activity. So if you see here, this is the package for this. I'm extracting the text from this, and then using run agent activity, I can call the deployed agent. So doc summary agent, right? Under solution doc summary folder. So all you need to do is like select orchestrator folder path, the correct one. Search here, yes, this one. And then from there, I can select all the resources. Have document summary agent. So it took some time to load, and then it's okay now. Push arguments just in case. And then here I have to pass the extracted text that I used here. So and then here we'll have a stage agent output, and I'm directly printing on it. It says arguments are more than 10,000. Just limit to 5,000. So when I run, so run agent is a persistent activity. Just I forgot to mention this. So what happens is if you are running, if you want to call an agent from Studio, just know that run agent is a persistent activity, which is like you'll do something and then you use run agent. It will go. The process will go to suspended state and then it will call agent. It will run the agent part. It will get the output and then it will continue. So it's like how we had this resume activity and then wait for resume for action center activities, right? So those are also persistent activity, and run agent is also a persistent activity. Now if you see, I started and then it went to resume. I mean, it went to suspended state and then I have to click on resume, continue this. It even if I'm clicking resume now and if the agent is still running, it will still be on suspended state. Let's see. Luckily it finished. So now I got the output. The same output of the same agent. And then if I run again, as I mentioned, so PDF text has been read, and then now agent part would have been running in the background. If I click on resume, it will go to suspended again. Until this agent part finishes, it will keep on go to suspended state. In actual cases, you'll be deploying this to orchestrator. So you don't have to click on resume. It will auto resume by itself. It will go to suspended. Once the agent part is completed, it will resume. Resume, and now the agent part is done. This is my summary. Okay.
So there is a character limit for the input arguments, but there is no character limit in the Web Studio, right?
We don't have there. In
But in
here
this
we
case,
had,
it will
yeah.
be, in this case, it will be very tough task, right? Like every 5,000 characters, we have to, for one PDF file, you have to do it for that. If it is a 100 pages PDF file. So,
So in that case, you can, I mean, I think UiPath is still trying to add multimedia also. So instead of passing already read text, you can directly pass the file.
okay.
So pass the file and then make it summary. Yeah. I mean, summarize from that.
Okay. So in the Web Studio, can we get whatever the you have built on Web Studio, can we get it from the storage buckets, right? So, but is there any like specific to get from the drive or SharePoint, or we can directly deploy the file, upload the file in the share bucket, storage buckets, and from there we can get it, right?
Yes, you can get it. You can upload the files here and then you can call the, I mean, you can use storage bucket related activities and then loop over them. Yeah.
Yes. So last time Nandini asked, right? Like it was looping the each and every file. So if it is in storage bucket, suppose I have uploaded 10 files. So each one is having only one page. I want to consolidate all the report and get it. So directly I can get it, right? Instead of looping the for each. So you said there was no possibility, like it was a different process.
It's not about possibility. So what I told was, so in my case, I have like if I store let's say one digital transformation document and then another one is a different type document, not about automation, but a different type. So in that case, it doesn't make sense to summarize these two, right? So this is a separate document and that's a different type of document. So in your case, as you mentioned, if you have like single page files, everything related to digital transformation, then yes, you read each of the document. And I would say it's better to call agent outside the for each. So you combine everything into a single variable and then pass that variable to agent, ask it to summarize, and then you'll get single summaries for all documents.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I think that's all from my side. If you have any questions, then take now. We still have 5 minutes.
So, like, I have one question. Like, whenever we created a solution, right, and whenever we deploy the solution, so every time it will create a separate solution folder. So, like, let's suppose I want to deploy on a specific dedicated folder. Will that be possible, or it won't allow to create
From
deploy on that?
solutions, once you have to publish. So you cannot publish, you cannot deploy the resources to existing folder. For the first time when you publish, it will definitely create a separate folder with S on it. And then next time you publish, it will only update the versions within that resources. It will not create every time, but first time it has to create. We cannot directly publish to existing folder. Even if you publish to directly an existing folder, it will create a subfolder again. with solutions. Yeah.
Thank you.
For these deployments and everything, I've created a few videos in my YouTube channel. Just post my channel link if you're interested. You can join.
So this creation of agent, is that a
Mhm.
possibility on prem also?
On-prem, I don't think so. We need cloud for this because most of these
Okay.
integration services and then the indexing part, I think mostly these will be available only in cloud.
Okay. And the second question is the example which you have taken right now is very generic, right? Summarized thing. But when
Yes.
it comes to real life scenarios, we will be
Mhm.
asked on a very unstandardized document to find out
Yes.
particular details, dates, values,
Mhm. Yes.
right? So, how do we track that the LM model has given a correct value, or I mean, how is the training done?
There is no training happening actually. So let's say in your case, let's say you have a supply document and then you need to extract invoice number and then a date, invoice date or some price related values. So you just properly mention that in prompt and then in evolutions, you can create evolution sets as like a training test data. You create each case and then you can manually run for each of this case and then see if the output is matching or not. But yeah, there is no training happening. All you need to do is like play with prompt and then until you get a desired output, you just play with prompt.
So there is no generative
Hmm.
AI involved here. So that means
This is generative AI actually. So what it
so
does. Mhm.
so if I happen to, for example, I have 1,000 different types of PDFs, right?
Mhm.
And tomorrow there is a five new additional things coming up.
Mhm.
So will it give me a random value, or will it give me that it is not able to find out the value?
So even with these first 10,000 documents, we're not going to train any model. So if you have proper prompt, it doesn't matter of what structure it is. It is ultimately an LLM call. It's going to read the document and then it is going to find the invoice number there. So it doesn't matter of the types. Ultimately, for agent, the base is an LLM call, a GPT-4. So if I show my screen again, so this is my model. So I can select other models also, but I selected OpenAI's GPT-4. Okay, I think if you on your camera, okay, there's one more question. What can I jump from autopilot? For autopilot, I need to do a separate setup again. So I cannot show it now. But, maybe I'll forward some like, videos to how you do that. So basically, you set up your autopilot and then you write prompts in autopilot and then that will trigger the agent. So that's how you do basically. But I don't have the setup now.
Sure, sure.
Okay. That I think we can, if you can switch on your cameras, I'll quickly